let's talk about C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans. Champ, you called it. I mean, you like the Grinch who stole Christmas that day. I mean, damn. I saw that video that you sent. You said to yourself, "Load and freaking behold, 4 interceptions in the first half." And that's exactly what happened with C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans. In his first 2 career playoff games, this season, C.J. Stroud committed 7 total turnovers, 5 interceptions, 2 lost fumbles across just 6 quarters of play. He became the first player to record at least 5 receptions and 5 fumbles in a single postseason run. Stroud's 4 first half interceptions against New England made him only the second QB since 2000 to achieve that mark in a single half of a playoff game. Now, here are my thoughts regarding C.J. Stroud. He was awful. And to his credit, he took accountability for it. I'm concerned with CJ because I was raving about CJ Stroud before that draft. Matter of fact, Champ, you've talked about how he gave you 3 heart attacks in that college football semi-playoff game against Georgia.
Yes, he gave me a huge 3 heart attack. We call that to this day. That and the Baker Mayfield game, the heart attack game. But yeah, he gave us a heart attack up there, and he hasn't been the same since his rookie year. Remember his rookie year? I think me and you had him as the MVP.
Not only that, he was in the discussion for the MVP because of those great victories against Tampa and on the road against Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. But he hasn't been the same. We get it. We understand the offensive line. We also understood that Nico Collins did not play in that game. He was ruled out due to a concussion. I don't believe Dalton Schultz played in that game as well. But CJ, your game has dropped. And he's still a good enough quarterback in the NFL. Now, I don't agree with a lot of people. Oh, throw away CJ. No. He's been to the playoffs for you every single year. He's helped you win a playoff game every single year. And if you let him go, who are you going to find to replace? Now, I disagree with DeMeco Ryans. I felt that at some point, given how awful CJ Stroud was, at some point you should have put in Davis Mills. Just to have CJ build up confidence. Because clearly, BRF and we picked Houston to win that game because of their defense. All we just asked CJ to do, just play complimentary football. We wouldn't think that he would be that bad. We thought, okay, after that game against Pittsburgh, it couldn't be any worse. And it did. He threw 4 interceptions in the first half. He was shot. It was as bad as Ben Simmons in that playoff series against Atlanta. That's how horrid it was for CJ Stroud.
That's rough.
Why you had to break that one?
Rough.
That is nasty.
That's rough. That's diabolical.
Excuse me. I'm light skinned. Light skinned people can talk about light skinned people.
Woo, Lord have mercy.
Good Jesus.
Why do you pay me the highlight of Friday nights for a reason?
He gonna get a kick out of the L.
But in all seriousness, if you're Houston, I don't know. I mean, look, I have to keep CJ. I'm going to give him a contract, but I'm not in no way I'm going to reset the market after what I've seen from him so far in the playoffs and from him in the regular season. It's just disappointing, Champ, because again, with CJ, we thought that CJ, after that rookie year, he would only get better. And he has dropped. I mean, look at Bryce Young so far this season. Bryce Young, his first 2 years, he struggled. So far in year 3, he's gotten better. Anthony Richardson, the only good thing you can say about him so far, he's been consistent. And plus, you and I, we've seen a lot of SEC football. Look, we weren't that sold on Anthony Richardson coming out of college. You and I, we've said that. Matter of fact, I remember I came up with a topic: which QB would you rather have between Caleb or Anthony Richardson? And the answer is obviously Caleb. So I think with the Houston Texans, DeMeco Ryans is a hell of a coach. You have a hell of a defense. You better go get yourself an offensive line to help out CJ. You're gonna have to get a running back because Nick Chubb is gonna be out of there. But CJ's gonna have to improve his play. I don't know what has happened with CJ. I'm not gonna go as far as Shannon Sharp, how he talked about how he enjoyed the hype. Maybe that may be true. Maybe after coming off that rookie season, CJ kind of enjoyed the hype, the attention. I don't know. But his play, for whatever reason, has dropped. Do I think if Davis Mills had been in at quarterback, do I think the Houston Texans would win that game? No. He would have put them in a better position only because turnovers. I don't know what's going on with CJ. I give credit to Undisputed World Champion with his prediction. It looked bad for CJ when one of those interceptions he threw to Carlton Davis, it looked like Carlton Davis was like Chris Carter catching the ball on the sideline. The second interception that he threw when he got clocked, all right, I'm not going to put too much on it on CJ. He was about to get clocked anyway. He should just thrown it out of bounds or whatever. The third and fourth interception, I'm like, CJ, come on, dude. Get your shit together. I mean, he throwing picks. That's how bad. He was throwing so many picks in that game. Shit, it's kind of like Chad passing up on free food. That's how bad it was for CJ Stroud in that game. It was that bad. And with Houston, you got to be concerned because guess what? Jacksonville still ain't going anywhere. The Titans, I think the Titans are on the right step by bringing in Robert Saleh and also Brian Dable as an offensive coordinator. And Indy, they would have ran away with the AFC South had not been for Daniel Jones' injury. So you're really going to have to ask yourself with CJ, I believe they should keep him. I'm not going to reset the market with CJ, but I have to keep him because who am I going to get in return? And this is a disappointing way for the Texans to end off the season. CJ, if he's going to show everyone that he's still going to be the guy for Houston, and I still believe he can be the guy for Houston, he's going to have a huge bounce back. Champ, what are your thoughts?
CJ, stay out of Onyx. I know Houston is a very exciting city, man. I know.
Why don't you just say? Why couldn't you just say stay away from Amber Rose?
Well, you know her too, but I know Dominique Chin and a lot of the beautiful ladies down there. They fine as all outdoors. Shout out to Gabby Doll as well. But dude, you gotta do some things. You gotta do some things, man, because you have not been the same. And the only logical explanation is you either must be distracted or we crowned you too soon. Because it's safe to say right about now, Bryce is doing a hell of a lot better than you are. So shout out to Harrison.
We are in 2026 and we are having, is Bryce Young better than CJ Stroud conversations?
Exactly. We are having this discussion right now. We must have it because the thing is, Bryce Young has improved every single year, the whole rookie year. Remember, he lost his job at one point, Andy Dalton. Now, people don't want to say the other part of why he lost his job. He was distracted, Let's just keep it real. When your girl run off with Tyrese Maxey, you're going to be distracted too. Let's just be real. Shit. You lose. You already lose your job. You lose your girl too. That's a double whammy. That's a Jennifer Hudson song going wrong right there. Am I lying?
No.
So, to the point where one of the fans had you sign an autograph, he told you keep your head up. Second season, you come back. Real good. Third season, you play lights out. You damn near beat the Rams.
Twice.
You damn near beat the Rams twice. So it's time to start having conversations. And look, man, I know that we live in a microwave society. I know that the Hot Pockets look good. Hot Pockets and, Tony's Pizza, it all looks good when you're cooking it in a microwave because you're hungry. But we got to give credit where credit is due. We have to take the time to let the soul food cook when it comes to these quarterbacks. We keep crowning them too soon, and it comes back and it bites us in the butt more than once. Especially with these two guys. Granted, Bryce Young plays in the NFC South. But you also got to take this into consideration. He plays for a worse team and a worse owner.
Yeah, we all know how horrendous of an owner Dave Tepper is.
Exactly. So you're playing in the NFC South with a worse owner and a worse defense, and I'm still thriving where you are failing. 7 turnovers total in that entire play. And the thing is, I said it from the beginning. If Pittsburgh would have had a little bit of offense, they would have probably won that game because the defense scored most of their touchdowns, that being Houston. And the thing is, I'm giving C.J. Stroud the next year. Look, every single year that the Texans have been under the Miko Ryans, they have been at least a top 10 defense. They was number 1 this year. And if you really want to think about it, the last offensive coordinator already got taken to the gallows. He already got taken to the gallows. So who are you going to fire next? You can't fire DeMeco Ryans. The quarterback got to go.
Well, you're not going to fire
And the
DeMeco
thing
Ryans.
is, I understand people are going to say, well, who are you going to get? Hold up. Didn't we say that last time in Miami? With Tua? Oh, yeah, we did. He's only been healthy 1 full season. And he's been turning the ball over like crazy. Not 1 playoff win. So this whole being thirsty for quarterbacks.
And well, hold on, champ. You forgot one more.
Yeah.
Someone who is superior than all these quarterbacks. One Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
And with CJ, we're not asking CJ to be. Although I had high expectation for CJ, we just wanted you in that game. Could you at least play complimentary football? Can you make some throws here and there? Can you, more importantly, take care of the football? Try not put your team in harm's way. He couldn't do that. He was like Ben Simmons in that series against Atlanta.
Yeah.
From that point, it looked like he was shell-shocked. Could it be because of the Kardashians or Amber Rose or whatever? I don't know with CJ Stroud, but with them eyes that the champ has, I mean, his eyes starting to look like Warren Sapp's. Hey, that should tell you all you need to know. But with CJ, I'm shocked. I'm astounded that he would be this bad.
Right.
Should we really be shocked though, PSP?
Yes.
He hasn't played well in any regular season game this year.
No, actually, champ, I disagree with you. There was a couple of games he did play well in. The 49ers game. He did play well in the 49ers game. I did not anticipate his drop to be that huge. That huge. If it's a slight decline, okay, fine. I'm sure there's the off season where we can make adjustments, where we can correct some things. It's even worse. Significantly, substantially worse, champ. It's not even a joke. Drake May didn't have to play spectacular or well in order for the Patriots to win that game. All he had to do is just play complimentary football, champ. The only best games that CJ Stroud has had this season, you got to look at the Titans in week 4. You got to look at Baltimore. You got to look at the victory against San Francisco when he went 30 of 39 for 318 yards. And you got to look at Arizona. But outside of that, champ, if you look at CJ Stroud, this season, I'm not going to say he was terrible or horrible. He was okay. Okay at best. And remember, he didn't play a lot of those games because remember, he was in concussion protocol. And Davis Mills had to step in. And Davis Mills, a journeyman experienced quarterback, a journeyman quarterback, they were succeeding. They were winning games, including one of the games that we gave our analysis at, the Bills versus Texans game. So with CJ Stroud, I'm not asking him to play fantastic or extraordinary. And plus, BRF would agree with me in a nutshell. Can you imagine if CJ Stroud were what he was in his rookie season? If CJ Stroud played like the CJ Stroud in his rookie season, Houston would have a good shot of actually coming out of the AFC. And unfortunately, that is not the case because of how awful CJ has been in the playoffs, champ. I thought he couldn't be any worse after what I saw in that game against Pittsburgh. And I was dead wrong. He was shot. In the words of Biggie Smalls, you're dead wrong.
I mean, like I said, it doesn't shock me. He hasn't been playing spectacular over the course of the season. And look, if you really look at that Pittsburgh defense, it was not very good. And you were shell-shocked in front of that defense. You were shell-shocked in front of that defense. And you went on the road to Gillette Stadium, where they've only lost in the playoff 4 times since Robert Kraft purchased the team. You go to Gillette Stadium to get your ass whooped. That's what you go there for. So you're on the road in Gillette against a team, a complete team, not just a defensive team that is going to, pull out a winning season and just leave. You went out there against a complete team and you just completely got doused. And again, same problems happened with Tua when he got to Kansas City. And people are going to say, well, who else are you going to get? Okay, do I really want to get this young man $250 million? You're not even $250 million material there.
I didn't say,
or do I need to start over and draft another quarterback? Because the thing is, people are going to talk about the offensive line, but Davis Mills was making that offensive line look hella good. And like I stated last week on our show, BRF, if you're going to be considered a top 5 player in this league, especially at the cornerback position, you have to be a kingmaker at a certain point. We've seen guys.
Champ, I've said with CJ Stroud, no, I'm not giving him a long-term contract. But I can't lose him. So for me, if I'm Houston, I play my cards right. Let's see how you are in year 4. And then we're going to have to make a serious decision. I pick up his 5th-year option. And besides, if you're Houston, you already dealt with the mess with Deshaun Watson. And it took you more than a minute in order for you to get a QB. Now, unless you want to find a QB in the draft to replace CJ, all right, go ahead, fine. I think for now, if I'm Houston, I pick up that 5th-year option.
That's fair.
I'm paying him a huge contract, not after what I saw from the playoffs. But he has been to the playoffs every single year of his career, and he's helped you win a playoff game every single year of his career. This was supposed to be Houston's best opportunity to at least get to a conference championship game. And to me, as a franchise, it seems like they're cursed. Because I mentioned, champ, the closest thing they've gotten to a conference championship game was the 24-point choke job that they had against Kansas City. And they still, to this day, have not been the same. Well, actually, they've been the same. It's just that they still have not gotten to where they ultimately want to go, and that's the conference championship game.
You want to know another funny thing about that? Warren Moon's entire tenure in Houston. he never reached a conference championship. The Houston Oilers did not reach a conference championship until they moved to Tennessee and became the Titans. So
So what
no
does that
team
do?
in Houston, no football team in Houston since Warren Moon. Well, the entire Warren Moon regime, they did not go to a conference championship. So the entire time, no team since Kenny Stabler has been to a conference championship.
That should tell you all you need to know.
Hey, it's a curse. It might be a curse, just like you said, or better
No,
stop.
I mean,
Better
no,
stay out there.
CJ played horrible. I cannot justify his performance. He was horrendous, especially them 4 interceptions in the first half. And I'm like, dude, what are you thinking? But Houston Texans, I don't know. I mean, I'm keeping D'Amico Ryans in that defense.
Absolutely.
But
You better.
CJ, I got some really serious questions about you heading into the offseason. But BRF.
That for me, that was probably one of the most disappointing quarterback performances I've seen in a while. I mean, just
Worse than Herbert?
yeah, like 5 times worse than Herbert. And I mean, it's like when he came into the league, I mean, yeah, like MVP conversation. Y'all were picking this man to win the MVP before the 2024 season, and it's almost like I haven't seen a regression this fast from a guy who came in and had the type of rookie year that CJ Stroud had. I mean, throwing for over 4,000 yards. I mean, poise, his accuracy, his moxie, just everything about him. Like we were saying, like, man, finally we can kind of like lift this whole idea of Ohio State not being able to produce NFL quarterbacks. We might finally be able to give that the rest. But hell yeah, not after the last 2 years. Not after that playoff game. We back to having that conversation. Man, Ohio State, they just can't produce good, consistent quarterbacks in the National Football League. But it's a shame that it's CJ Stroud. Because CJ Stroud at the Ohio State University, he played in the pro style offense. So you would think he would come in and the transition would be a lot quicker because he played in the pro style offense. And like year one, we were like, I don't think a lot of us were surprised because we saw how he played at Ohio State, but just the poise and then going out winning the playoff game, winning the wild card playoff game his rookie year. I mean, we were kind of expecting the world out of him, and just the drop off has been real and it's been sad, and it needs to be studied. I mean, that New England game was just, there was no poise. It's like he wanted to go out and just win the game in one play instead of just slowing the game down, slowing the game down for him and really kind of taking control. Well, you're supposed to be the franchise quarterback of the Houston Texans. You're going into a hostile environment, a road playoff game at Gillette. Like Champ said, one of the hardest places to play in the playoffs since Robert Kraft became the owner. The reason why, I picked the Texans to win this game because I felt like CJ Stroud would kind of learn from that Pittsburgh game and understand when you're going on the road in a hostile environment, you play complementary football. You distribute the ball. You don't try to be the game changer. You don't try to be the hero. You let your playmakers do their thing. Even if you don't have Nico Collins, Jaden Higgins has been playing good ball. Jalen Noel has been playing decent ball. I mean, Woody Marks coming out of college might have been the best receiving running back coming out. Y'all ain't been using him like that. I mean, that was a good point that somebody had made. Like, they haven't been using Woody Marks in a receiving role like they should have been, as good as he was coming out of college. That defense, man, I feel so sick for that defense. That was an historic defense. I mean, Will Anderson, like the way we talk about Bijan, being the best player in the league from an offensive standpoint. Will Anderson from a defensive standpoint needs to be in that best player in the league, like from a defensive standpoint. The fact that he still went out there and wreaked havoc and dominated the way he did on the defensive side of the ball in that New England game in a loss, that just speaks for how good he already is and how much better he's going to be, because he's still really young. And Danielle Hunter still being his age, producing the way he's been. They have the best secondary in football. When you go around this Stingley and Petrie and Kamari Lassiter, I mean, those, man, They get it. That secondary just gets it done almost every week. Like I think the play that went down when I knew what type of game it was going to be. It was the play where the tight end looked like he was running, he was going, he was he's crossing the screen, looked like it was going to be a slip screen. He slips before he gets to this spot, but then a receiver breaks. You think CJ's going to make the throw, but then the pass rusher comes in, takes him off his spot, either take the sack or run. He tries to throw the ball, basically punts it to the defense. They catch it, pick six. When I saw that, I was like, yep, I know what type of game this is going to be. He's already flustered. That probably killed him the rest of the game. And sure enough, it did. He had no confidence in his throws. He was making terrible decisions. His pocket awareness completely dropped off. They were tagging him the entire game. And like I said, the New England Patriots, as good as a defense as they possess, they do not have a good pass rush. And they were lighting him up like a Christmas tree on Christmas Eve. It was that bad. They were toe tagging him. I mean, it was bad. Not only was he playing bad, he was getting lit up. Like that looked like early 2000s New England Patriots defense. That's what that looked like, because those early New England Patriots teams in the 2000s, like that first dynasty, when that defense is on point, they might be they were the most smothering defense in all of football when they were on their game. And that's what that AFC divisional looked like. And you can't speak enough about that defense. I threw out a stat line. Shout out to Brandon from the block. I threw out this stat line. When Christian Gonzalez and Christian Barmore, when they are both on the field at the same time for the New England Patriots, they are 16-0 this season. When they are both starting, they're 16-0. They don't lose when those two guys are on the defense. Christian Gonzalez is a top 3 corner in football. Christian Barmore is one of the up and coming defensive end / defensive tackle positional players in football. He can play both sides. He can play both positions, defensive end, defensive tackle. He's big enough to play defensive tackle, but he's athletic enough and he's good enough with his hands to play end. He's that talented. And that's Mike Vrabel, just being able to, being the defensive guy that he is, being a linebacker, one of the cornerstones of that defense in his career, being a really good linebacker in his own right, understanding defense. That's just understanding schemes and understanding how to develop, a game plan against quarterbacks. And he took advantage of the fact that he had a feeling that CJ Stroud they were going to be able to rattle him. And they rattled him all game. I mean, he couldn't do anything. And for me, I think the most important trait for a quarterback is not your accuracy. It's not your arm strength. It's not your pocket awareness. It's your confidence. It's your intangibles. It's your confidence. Because if you don't, at the very least, if you don't have any confidence, what's gonna follow if you don't believe in yourself to go out there and play and then have the intangibles to be able to go out there and hang with the big dogs and hang with the best of them? If you don't have that, I don't care about any of your physical attributes. If you don't have that mentality, like you're gonna get it done, what's the point of even trying? And CJ Stroud just looks like he's lost it all. And it's like I said earlier, the fact that we are in 2026 and we are having Bryce Young is better than CJ Stroud conversations just tells you the downfall of CJ Stroud since the 2023 season.
BRF, you could say Mac Jones.
I mean, it's crazy how CJ Stroud went from being in top 10 conversations to being is he top 25?
That's not a question. That's
crazy.
not a question.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. How huge of a drop off. And now, I mean, are we going to have conversations about Mac Jones? Because I've tried to tell people about so many times with Mac Jones being bad. People thought Mac Jones was a bust in New England. No, that was because of coaching and what he was subjected to in New England. When you finally put him with coaching, when you finally put him up with a Kyle Shanahan and that type of offense, now, and again, Champ wants him in Atlanta. I think that he would be a perfect fit for Kevin Stefanski's offense.
I think he would. Yeah, he would be the perfect bridge until Penix got healthy. And if you win, you could just roll him out there for all of this season and let Penix get healthy. I think at this point, I would like to move more just from a standpoint of how
The offense.
how high of an IQ Mike Jones actually possesses as a quarterback, how smart he is as a quarterback, how quick he is to learn these offenses and understand, his anticipation and his accuracy. Like it's like you
And
said,
plus
man.
he
Once
fit
you get the
and,
right coaching, yeah,
and plus he fits with Kevin Stefanski with taking snaps from under the center, and you're not asking Mac Jones to do an awful lot. All you're
Nope.
just asking from the offense, don't fuck it up.
all
But
right.
with CJ, I'm not gonna give him a huge fat contract, but I have to wait. Can he still be the guy for Houston? I still believe so. But eventually, like with a lot of young players, growing pains. I think this could be the best thing for him to grow and learn from this. And how does he move on? I'm not going to say CJ Stroud is a bust. Anyone who says CJ Stroud is a bust, stop.
Yeah.
So let's not go that far. The kid has talent. I just think he hasn't been the same since that rookie season. And like I said, I mean, he looked like Ben Simmons. He looked like
He,
Ben Simmons in that Atlanta series. Y'all
Like a
saw
deer in
how Ben
headlights.
Simmons was.
I
That's
mean,
that's how awful he was in that game and this
right
season.
now, CJ Stroud is the Michael Carter Williams of the NFL at this point.
Oh, not the
He's the
good rookie, not the good rookie year followed by the downfall. Ooh,
I mean, he's the Michael Carter Williams. I mean, remember in Philadelphia,
that's a good
he was
comparison.
going to be the guy.
I think he won rookie of the year too. That was
He
a good.
won rookie of the
he
year.
did.
I
That's a
mean,
good
he was
comparison.
lighting it up like a Christmas tree.
That's a good comparison.
And he was supposed to be the guy. And then
Never the same.
Never the
Phew.
same.
Few. I mean, and after about 3 years, you never heard from him again.
Nope.
After 3 years, it's like, where the hell Michael Carter Williams go? Oh yeah, he'll have a good game here and there, but for the most part, it's just like
Burgers.
Boom. Burgers. I mean,
Burgers.
and I'm not talking about Red Robin. I'm talking about
McDonald's.
I'm talking about McDonald's by Grady. So that's the one I'm talking about. But
You could just said them Burger King burgers.
Burger King,
They
yeah.
bad.
Well,
No, I don't know.
We'll go with Crystals. We'll go with Crystals.
Ooh.
The White Castle burgers.
Crystal
The White
/
Castle?
White Castle. Ooh.
Yeah, what my dad called them, them gas burgers. But but he's the Michael Carter Williams of the NFL. He's been chasing that rookie season. I mean, ever since he's been there, and it's been amazing the downfall of that team. And and like I said, he does not look the same. It's just like, damn, what have you been doing? Do you study film? Like, your pocket presence is average at best. Do you feel what's going on around you? And it looks bad when the backup quarterback comes in and you're a 3-year veteran and he's acting like the offensive line just is all pro. So what are you doing in the offseason in order to improve? Are you letting this Houston deal get to you? And are you not putting in the work behind the scenes? Because your offensive coordinator from your rookie year, he's already been fired. Remember?
Yes,
He's
Bobby
already
Slowick.
been fired.
Bobby Slowick. Yeah.
Exactly. So he's already been fired because of low offensive performance as of last year. So they brought in a new offensive coordinator, and you're on the verge of getting him fired. It's only so long that we can pretend these quarterbacks are who we think they are. A lot of them are frauds.
Let's not go that far yet with CJ, because I do think he's a good enough quarterback. But man, you have a lot of making up to do, man. You have a lot of making up after what we saw from you in these playoffs, man.